A very good evening to you. It is the second Thursday of the month of April, the year 2026. Glad that you're joining us to get you informed on the latest developments in the country and beyond. But first, let's get the highlights. Opposition leaders demand arrest of those responsible for the attack on Senator Geoffrey Osotsi in Kisumu. The High Court rules in favor of governors over senators' summons. Rising fuel shortage worry Kenyans as shortages continue in parts of the country. President William Ruto officiates opening of the second Urban Africa Forum at Kenyatta International Convention Center, advancing reforms. On the sign language interpretation is Mutava Mwongeli, but remember that we are also live across all our socials. On YouTube, it's KTV News Kenya. On X, it's KTV_Kenya. My name is Ochieng, Cynthia. Welcome. The opposition is calling for the responsible for the attack of Senator Geoffrey Osotsi in Kisumu. They are speaking during a visit to the hospital. Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka urged for accountability for those responsible for maintaining security.
Following the attack on Vihiga Senator Geoffrey Osotsi that has him hospitalized in Nairobi, opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, while paying the senator a visit, demanded for immediate investigation to arrest those that attacked the senator. While addressing the media, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka called for the immediate resignation of PS Raymond Omolo, the Principal Secretary for Internal Security and National Administration, as he threatened that the opposition team will go for a private prosecution.
There is absolutely no reason why those individuals who attacked Osotsi will not have been apprehended by now. So if they will not have been apprehended by this time tomorrow, we will be on a trail. We're even going now to institute private prosecution against this PS Raymond Omolo.
On his part, Kakamega County Senator Boni Halwale echoed similar sentiments and asked the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI and other security organs to carry out an investigation and arrest of the goons involved in the attack of Senator Osotsi, since there is evidence from the CCTVs.
I'm talking about the DCI and the other investigative arms of government. Because the CCTV footage is there, we want to see arrests. CS Raymond Omolo and CS Murkomen should vacate office.
Former Cabinet Secretary of the Ministry of Defense Eugene Wamalwa highlighted that the goons who are attacking leaders have been hired and paid by CS Raymond Omolo. He called for justice for Senator Osotsi as well as the arrest of the goons.
In this case, the goons that were used, we now have evidence that are known goons in Kisumu City, and their sponsor is known. And from the evidence we have received, we have confirmed that these goons, whose faces are clearly caught on CCTV, are part of PS Raymond Omolo's team.
Opposition team led by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka have called for the justice for Senator Osotsi. It also asked leaders to be accountable. Murugiga Ki, KUTV.
Still on that matter, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has condemned the attack on Vihiga Senator Geoffrey Osotsi in Kisumu, blaming Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo for deploying goons to block opposition leaders from Nyanza. He urged the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, to act upon the matter. Gachagua also accused Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah of planning to disrupt an opposition meeting in Kikuyu. Speaking at a burial in Laikipia East, he warned that political thuggery has no place in democracy, further criticizing the government for turning Kenya into a safe haven for goons.
I want, as I wind up, to condemn in the strongest terms possible the use of goons in this country to deal with politics. I have been attacked a record 24 times, 5 of them in churches, by goons and police. And nothing has been done. The PS for Interior, Raymond Omolo, is the chief goon in this country. And he's the one sponsoring goons every day to attack people. The other day, Edwin Sifuna and Babu Wino were waylaid by goons in Kisumu. Yesterday, they attacked the senator for Vihiga, Godfrey Osotsi, and they hurt him very badly. Na tumemwambia Inspector General of Police, huyu Kimani Ichung'wah alitisha ati atakuja kufuruga mkutano yetu. Saa hii anapanga wahuni kuharibu maduka, kuharibu biashara, kupiga watu.
And away from that, the High Court in Kiambu has barred the Senate and state agencies from summoning or arresting governors over disputed directives. The conservatory order will, in the meantime, allow governors to ignore the summons in a major relief as tension escalates between county leaders and the Senate over oversight and accountability.
Governors can now breathe a sigh of relief after Kiambu High Court issued conservatory order restraining the Senate, the National Assembly, the police, and the Attorney General from summoning, arresting, or detaining governors over disputed directives. The conservatory order comes as a relief to governors who have been under pressure to honor summons or face disciplinary action, but the latest court pronouncement gives county bosses the freedom to snub Senate summons scot-free over the disputed directives. Governors have intensified their complaints against the Senate, accusing them of intimidation, harassment, extortion, and humiliation during oversight sessions.
We demand the immediate withdrawal of the alleged warrants of arrests, if any, we've not seen any, or any coercive measures against governors pending an impartial determination of this matter. Additionally, we urge the Office of the Inspector General of Police to establish the veracity of matters to avoid miscarriage of justice.
Senate Majority Leader Arion Cheriot issued a warning giving governors a 30-day deadline starting April 4th to appear before Senate committees or risk facing investigations by state agencies, cautioning them that any governor who fails to honor the summons to account for the use of public funds should consider stepping down. Kisii Governor Simba Arati is the latest governor to give the Senate Public Accounts Committee a wide berth. Speaking in Kisii County during a public address, Arati defended his action to skip the Senate Departmental Committee on Public Accounts summons, instead called on members of the committee to visit his county and see how devolved funds are being utilized and how devolution is functioning on the ground.
You came to Kisii. The only thing you are doing is Simba one term. Oh, Simba, ni sijui ni what. Wacha niwaambie, mimi niko kazini. I'm on site. I'm going to work for my people. And they will direct me on the record which I could have set. Kwa hivyo ndugu zangu, wacha kutisha sisi. Sisi ni Wakenya kama wale wengine. Tuheshimiane kazini. Ukitaka kujifundisha yale yanafanya kufanyika katika devolution, kuja Kisii hapa. Mimi siogopi leo hii.
Governors now look forward to fair treatment, insisting their grievances are addressed before responding to Senate summons as tensions over oversight continue. Atenka Negunda, Kutv.
Thank you, Ateng, for that. Now, parts of Kenya are currently experiencing fear on fuel shortage, with speculations that it will affect the price of fuel products and transportation of goods. This comes after the government had assured the public of sufficient fuel stock in the country.
Tension is rising among Kenyans concerning the acute fuel shortage being experienced, affecting their daily lives. Many are concerned about the impact this crisis has on their businesses, food, and families. Motorists fear the rise of fuel products, while passengers share their concerns with transport fees increase. Currently, the government agencies and regulators, through the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, has constantly reassured the public that there is no call for fear or panic as everything is under control, a reality that contradicts the fuel shortage on the ground. Petroleum and gas station attendants in Nairobi have shared their sentiments that they are not in a position to address the issue, leaving it to the administration and suppliers. It has occurred some stations have fuel while others do not, raising the question of whether fuel is available in the country or not, a concern that motorists are painfully narrating.
Nafanyia kazi hapa na tuktuk. Hii njia mafuta kuwa hakuna hata station mingi, hata huku 44 hakuna, baada 45 hakuna mafuta. Sasa mimi ningeomba kama serikali inasikia kilio ya Wakenya, iweke subsidy kama yenye ilikuwa imewekwa na Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president.
Additionally, business owners share their grievances on the impact of fuel shortage on their businesses and how this crisis is affecting their entire economy.
Siku hizi hatuoni kama biashara, siku hizi hata customer afiki bei kitu ya kwanza. Bei ya mafuta ikipandishwa kila kitu wanapandisha juu. Hata saa hii ukiangalia hata bei ya unga saa hii ni 200. Kwa hivyo hakuna otherwise. Sasa tunaomba serikali yakirudisha, tunaweza enda biashara inaweza enda sawa.
Sadly, the common mwananchi is the one mostly hit, affecting their source of income as they struggle daily to fend for themselves in the harsh economy.
Bei ya mafuta imetuaffect si kama wananchi, sababu fare imepanda tena unapatani. Yani imetuaffect sana, imetuaffect. Kwanza si raia wa kawaida, imetuaffect sana. Sasa tunarudi tunasikia hao watu ndio walisanya mafuta. Najua wote tu hao si, yani hata tunashindwa ndasema nini, sababu mimi imeni affect sana.
As fear keeps on rising every day among the Kenyans concerning the fuel shortage in the country, Kenyan motorists share the opinion concerning the speculations of fuel price increase. Phyllis Wanja, Kutv, Nairobi.
Thank you, Anja. Moving on, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has stepped up grassroots voter registration and civic education efforts, engaging opinion and elected leaders to meet a target of 8,786 new voters by the 28th of April 2026. The Molo Constituency Registrar Yvonne Chiruto reported that 2,238 new voters have been registered so far, alongside 131 transfer requests. Local MCA John Mwangi and Bernard Lagat called on Gen Zs to turn out online activism into actual voter registration.
Kile ambao nimeweza kuangalia na nikaona changamoto kufikia kwa leo katika wodi ya Turi, wameweza tu kusajili voters ama wapiga kura 398 na ikilinganishwa na target ambayo ni 1791. Na nikiangalia mojawapo ya changamoto ambazo zinakumba wale ambao wanafanya hiyo exercise, wale ambao wanasajili, unakuta ya kwamba vijana wengi wetu hawajaweza kuchukua vitambulisho.
Session ambayo tumefanya mikutano na stakeholders wa eneo la Molo Constituency. Pia kama tume ya uchaguzi kuna ward-based voter mobilizers.
Meanwhile, Kenyans have been urged to maintain peace and order as the country gears up to 2027 general elections. Speaking in Machakos County, Chief Executive Officer of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Dr. Daniel Mutegi, stressed the need to embrace peace through students in schools, calling for a curriculum review to include peace as a subject in a bid to promote reconciliation. He strongly criticized politicians who spread hate speech in the country and explained that the commission will soon begin taking them to court after Parliament passes the bill they submitted to combat the hate speech.
Na tunashirikiana na Ministry of Education kuhakikisha kwamba tuna roll out Amani clubs in all the schools in Kenya, whether middle level running institutions or higher running institutions or primary and post-primary institutions, ili ya kwamba kila shule, kila mahali ambapo kuna masomo ukaweze kuwa na Amani club, ili ya kwamba tukaweze kufundisha vijana wetu wakiwa wachanga mambo ya amani, mambo ya mshikamano wa kitaifa na mambo ya kusikiza maoni tofauti.
Viongozi wetu pia ambao wanaendeleza ujumbe ambao ni wa kugawanya wa Kenya, ujumbe ambao ni wa utengano, pia inabidi pia wawe ni vielelezo vyema kwa vijana wetu, kwa sababu kama sisi kama viongozi wa walimu na walimu wenyewe tunapowafundisha wa vijana hawa shuleni na darasani, pia wao pia wanaangalia jinsi ambavyo viongozi wetu wanavyozungumza.
Now, that call for peace story brings us to taking our very first breather. We'll be back with more stories. Do stay tuned.
On this episode of Fashion Diaries. Only on Fashion Diaries.
Wanasema kula uhondo kwa taka matendo, na bila shaka matendo yake yakazaa uhondo. Bidii na panda shuka zake zikamfanya awe mwanga wa dunia.
Bi Pauline Care ni mwalimu wa walimu. Nilijua nilikuwa ninataka kufanya kwa kwa mochari.
Nilijitolea kimasomaso, nikasema manake nimeenda shule kama wenzangu wa kiume, nitafanya kazi kadri na uwezo wangu.
Inafika mahali ile game yenye umesema hiyo ndio unaenda ku give up na uachane na boxing, ndio unapata WBC.
Fahamu mwanamke huyu kwa utendeti zaidi ukitazama kipindi cha Mwanamke Mwake Mwake. Kila Jumatano saa 2:30 usiku, ukiwa nami Caroline Kimwele.
Welcome back, and let's keep on informing you. In a move expected to boost the status of urban areas, President William Ruto has officially opened the second Urban African Forum, where he lauded on the milestone his government has achieved in improving informal sectors through affordable housing project. The forum will see stakeholders coming up with reforms to address the informal settlements in Africa and protection of agricultural land.
President William Ruto has today graced the opening of the second Urban Africa Forum, bringing together 40 countries represented at ministerial level. The event is expected to safeguard the status of urban settlement, so the president highlighting on his achievement on the affordable housing program.
People, politicians who still think you can make populist, we are going to stop this housing because we are protecting the pay slips of people. Such pedestrian talk. How do you cannot see the 640,000 people working. You don't know what to do with them. I know many ministers here are wondering whether there are still people who are opposing this in Kenya. Yes, they are there, and they are not few. There are many. Many politicians still climb to podia to talk about how they want to stop this.
President Ruto has called on African countries to provide strong leadership which can mobilize resources as he did with the housing levy so as to fast-track the process.
It takes leadership. That's it. And we have had this in our plans as a country in many administrations. The people of Kenya are the biggest contributors to this success. Why? Because they put in their taxes.
Other leaders present, including Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, lauded President Ruto for identifying a gap and acting on it, stating that it has opened the job market in Kenya.
We are not only delivering housing units, the figure now stands at close to 300,000, but are also building an ecosystem that supports job creation for our youth, strengthens local industries, and expands access to dignified living conditions for our citizens.
But we agreed that the imperative ahead of us needs a certain kind of leadership. It needs bold leadership. It needs committed leadership. It needs proper planning.
Anna Claudia Rosbacha, Executive Director of United Nations Habitat and African Union Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Moses Vilakati, praised Kenya for spearheading the improvement of slums and informal settlement, which they say is a foundation for economic productivity.
Africa is the world's fastest urbanizing region, with cities growing at an average annual rate of 3.5%.
Adequate housing is a matter of dignity and human rights. It is also a foundation for economic productivity. It is also essential for social stability and peace. And it is also central to sustainable and inclusive urban development.
The forum, which is set to conclude on 10th April, will see key government officials in Africa working together in the improvement of living standards among Africans. Edward Nyamo, Kutv.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged African leaders to confront hard truths about a shifting global order. Opening the Mashariki Cooperation Conference in Diani, he warned that diplomacy is being eroded, with peace increasingly treated as a transaction, and sovereignty as negotiable property. Mudavadi also highlighted emerging threats, including the misuse of AI in unconstitutional government changes, terrorism, and the privatization of security through private military companies. He urged African states to strengthen intelligence cooperation and build resilient institutions, saying no single nation can face these challenges alone.
The nexus between security, peace, and development is now clearly established. We must, therefore, steadily build a geopolitical trajectory around one of Africa's most important pillars of progress, peace and security as the foundation of sustainable development.
This conference comes at an inflection point in the world's security landscape. This necessitates a shift in strategic insights and enhanced intelligence cooperation to proactively tackle the multidimensional, borderless, and intertwined security challenges.
Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya has called for stronger protection of Loita Forest, warning that land subdivision could expose indigenous trees to illegal harvesters, while advocating for compensation for local communities whose traditional practices have safeguarded the ecologically.
The Cabinet Secretary for Defense Soipan Tuya has urged recognition of Loita community conservation efforts, calling for ecosystem payments, while cautioning that land demarcation could open forests to illegal logging and threaten its rich biodiversity. The CS warned Loita residents against felling trees for quick profit, stressing that preserving Namankio forest can unlock sustainable economic gains through ecosystem benefits, while protecting livelihoods and securing the region's environmental future.
To support in the conservation efforts as directed by His Excellency the President. So I'm here as a champion for this forest, and I want to assure the people of Loita forest community that we are going to work together. We need to read from the same script, and the county government, of course, of Narok is also taking the lead. We need to read from the same script so that every effort that we put into the Loita forest has to translate into economic benefit.
She also praised the Loita community for their unwavering commitment to safeguarding Naminkeo forest, highlighting how indigenous knowledge and Maasai traditions have played a vital role in sustaining the area's unique ecosystem over the years.
I really commending the community of the Loita forest and Naminkeo forest. They have been the best custodians. If you want to find a community that has taken the front line in protecting and safeguarding this ecosystem, it's the Loita community. And KDF and the Ministry of Defense, just like all the other ministries of this country, have their portion of contributing to the 15 billion tree growing initiative.
The call for urgent protection of Loita forest has intensified amid fears that cartels are targeting rare tree species following recent land demarcation, with conservation advocates urging local communities to resist illegal logging and safeguard the fragile Namankio ecosystem for future generations.
We have very pristine forest here. We have some species which are CITES protected species, and we know there are people who are targeting to come in with their community members getting their titles to take away the species. They go and make billions of monies out there, and they leave the communities poor. My role as a champion here is to make sure that will not happen.
Authorities Authorities have urged heightened vigilance and community cooperation to protect Loita Forest, warning that continued threats to rare tree species and the fragile Namankio ecosystem could undermine conservation gains if urgent action is not taken. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
Let's get sporty now. AFC Leopards head coach Fred Ambandi and Posta Rangers forward Jackson Macharia have been named the Kenya Premier League coach and player of the month of March. The AFC Leopard tactician beat the likes of Gor Mahia head coach Charles O'Connor to the prize to bag the prize for the second time this campaign. Meanwhile, the experienced Posta Ranger attacker had an outstanding run in March, stroking home 4 goals in 4 matches, the highest in the period, which included the opener in a 1-1 draw against Gor Mahia and a brace against Kariobangi Sharks 2-1. Atletico Madrid stand 10-man Barcelona in the first leg of UEFA Champions League quarter-finals to register their first win at camp since 2006 to inch closer towards reaching the Champions League semi-finals. Goals from Julian Alvarez and Alexander Sloth were enough for Diego Simeone's boys to secure the victory in the first leg of their quarter-finals. Well, that is all we had for you tonight on the 9th of April, the year 2026. See you next time. Mutava Mongeli was our sign language interpreter. My name is Ochieng, Cynthia. Good night.